morning, I'm Amar Singh Pradhan. Let's begin with the latest top stories. District Presidential Assembly of Nepali Congress ends without finding outlet to the intra-party dispute, focuses more on government bashing than organizational improvement. The statistics of road accidents depicts an alarming picture. Over 2,000 people killed every year, around 80% of the victims under 30 years. Venezuelan security forces charged of carrying out hundreds of arbitrary killings under the guise of fighting crime. Venezuela has been dismissing human rights allegations as lies. And Switzerland come from behind to register a thrilling victory over Serbia. Nigeria brings alive Argentina with a crushing win over Iceland. Let's begin with the national political updates. The district presidents of Nepali Congress have advised the party leadership to refrain from intra-party factionalism and unite against the communist government. The Assembly of the district presidents have also come up with a 21-point Hetauda manifesto aimed at improving the party's organizational structure. The four-day assembly held at Hetauda, however, came to an end by ignoring the intra-party rift for the time being. This has provided some respite to the party president, Sher Bahadur Deuba, who had recently been facing harsh criticism from factions loyal to him and the opposition. The assembly concluded that the party should take a firm stand against the government. The manifesto has also attempted to raise resistance from the streets to the parliamentary level against the government. Likewise, the assembly has tried to pacify the officials of Nepali Congress who are disappointed after the party's heavy loss in recent elections. Analysts, however, say that the party's upcoming days would be more challenging if the leadership does not mend its ways and come up with people-oriented agenda as a responsible opposition. And moving on, following the endorsement of the joint working regulations of the House of Representatives and National Assembly yesterday, the process has begun for the formation of Parliamentary Hearing Committee. The formation of hearing committee by the Speaker will now pave way for the appointment of Chief Justice and other appointments in the constitutional bodies. The Speaker has asked for the nominees for the parliamentary hearing committees, which is going to have members from the House of Representatives and National Assembly. The appointments will be made once the parties send their recommendations by the end of next week. This will lead to the hearing on the appointment for various positions at the constitutional bodies. In the absence of hearing committee, the appointment of Chief Justice at the Supreme Court has been stalled for quite some time now. Judicial Council had forwarded the name of Deepak Raj Joshi to the post of Chief Justice on 12th of June. The government is also bound to feel pressure for the appointment of Chief Commissioner at Anti-Graft Body and appointment of ambassadors to countries including India. Nepal's aviation sector has been removed from the blacklist of International Civil Aviation Organization (ICAO). Minister for Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation Rabindra Adhikari informed the Parliament yesterday that following relentless efforts from the government, the country's aviation sector has been removed from the ICAO's blacklist after 5 years. Minister Adhikari added that efforts were also on to delist country's aviation sector from the European Union. Minister Adhikari also said that route permit for Nepal-Delhi flight has been granted to Buddha Air, which is going to operate some test flights at the earliest. And moving on, over 2,000 people lose their lives to road accidents across the country every year. As per the statistics, around 80% of such accidents involve individuals under the age of 30 years. Youths in their prime age losing their lives in road accidents, which are mostly attributed to carelessness and bad road conditions, is an irreparable loss to the country. Just recently, 24-year-old scooter rider Asmita Bhandari was killed at Bhaktapur's Jadibuti after being hit by a tripper. This is just an instance of one of many such mishaps, most of which involve motorcycle and scooter riders under age of 30 years. Another dismal factor is that a significant number of victims die due to lack of timely treatment. It's been estimated that the death rate due to road accidents can be reduced by 30% if victims receive quick and effective treatment after such accidents. As most of the road accidents are caused due to carelessness and overspeeding, the number of deaths can be significantly reduced by careful driving and riding. Another important aspect is strict traffic rules and utmost vigilance on the part of the traffic police. And yesterday we had asked the locals of Kavre, Bhaktapur and Chitwan what should be done to minimize bike accidents in urban areas. Let's now take a look at what they have to say.
Public voice.
अब युवा केटाहरूले चाहिँ बढी स्पिड लान खोज्छन् अनि त्यही कारण पुलिसले चाहिँ बाटोमा अब चेक गर्नुपर्छ
स्पिड कम गर्नुपर्छ अर्कालाई देखाउनलाई देखेछ नि गर्नु हुँदैन
चलाउने पनि होशियार भएर बाटोमा हिँड्दा स्पिड चाहिँ कमै गर्नुपर्ने र ट्राफिक नियमलाई ध्यानै दिनुपर्छ
लाइसेन्स वितरण कक्ष जस्तै हाम्रो चाहिँ यातायात व्यवस्था विभागबाटै चाहिँ यो कुरामा चाहिँ अलिकति चासो देखाएर जिम्मेवारी वहन गर्ने हो भनेदेखि कम हुन्थ्यो
ठाउँ-ठाउँमा यो दुर्घटनाग्रस्त भन्ने एउटा सानभर विशेष ढंगले राख्नुपर्छ
सडक सबभन्दा पहिला सुधार गर्नु पर्यो ठाउँ-ठाउँमा बढी टर्निङहरु छ त्यसलाई चाहिँ अब सिधा बनाउन मिल्ने भए सिधा बनाउनु पर्यो ट्राफिक चिन्हहरु ठाउँ-ठाउँमा राखिदिनु पर्यो अनि स्पिड कन्ट्रोल हुनु पर्यो
मेन कुरा त बाटो घाटो पनि हो र अलिकति चालकहरुले पनि अलिकति आफू सचेत भएर चाहिँ चलाउनु पर्यो
And now time for international update. Venezuelan security forces have carried out hundreds of arbitrary killings under the guise of fighting crime. In a report, it cites shocking accounts of young men being killed during operations, often in poor districts, over the past 3 years. The UN's human rights chief said no one was being held to account, suggesting the rule of law was virtually absent. The UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, Zeid Ra'ad Al Hussein, accused Venezuela of failing to acknowledge the depth of its crisis. Hussein suggested the International Criminal Court could become involved. Venezuela has in the past dismissed human rights allegations as lies. The country is going through a protracted political and economic crisis. The UN Human Rights Office alleges that extrajudicial killings were carried out by officers involved with the Operations for the Liberation of the People, ostensibly a crime reduction initiative. Reports said that these officers may have killed more than 500 people since July 2015 as a way to showcase crime reduction results. They are alleged to have faked evidence to make it look as though the victims died in exchanges of fire. And with that, it's now time for another short break. More news when we come back. Do stay tuned. The Nepal Bankers Association's decision to determine the interest rates provided to depositors has led to a new debate in the banking sector. Meanwhile, the silence of Nepal Rashtra Bank, the authority to regulate the national financial system, has given a suspicious twist to the whole issue. Nepal Bankers Association fixed the ceiling of the interest rates in exchange of deposits and directed all its affiliated commercial banks to follow the decision. NIC Asia Bank, however, insisted that the interest rates should be determined by the market and even advertised of providing higher interest rates than had been determined by the association. In retaliation, the association decided to suspend all of its internal transactions with NIC Asia Bank. This made NIC Asia to roll back from its decision and adopt the interest policy imposed by the association. However, the central bank remained silent regarding the entire development. The financial sector has recently been mired in the same scenario yet again. The Bankers Association has once again set limit on the deposit interest rates. Although the interest rates should be determined based on competition, the association has been imposing its decision in this respect. The regulatory body, Central Bank, has however remained indifferent towards the whole issue. The Bankers Association has been insisting that its decision was aimed at controlling interest rates in loans, citing that the increase in deposit interest would automatically lead to an increase in the interest on loans. However, the association has been alleged of illicitly imposing the limits on deposit interest merely to maintain its profit. Analysts are of the view that the central bank should play an effective role in such a situation and that appropriate measures should have been taken even in case it is anything to do with the current financial liquidity. Competition is synonymous to any open market. The Association of Banks imposing its decision via carteling aimed at halting fair competition as such is against the norms of open market. And now time for a segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. And your question is, what's your take on bank cartel interest rates? And your options are: option A, resisting competition; option B, weakness of central bank; and option C, toying with consumers. The voting for the question is on. Type NAWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. And it's now time for a sports update.
Sports news.
Switzerland registered a thrilling 2-1 victory over Serbia in a Group E match of the FIFA World Cup played late last night. Serbia had taken the lead within 5 minutes of the match as Alexander Mitrovic opened the scoring to give Serbia 1-0 lead. In an enterprising match, Croatia made a strong comeback, first getting the equalizer shortly into the second half and scoring the winner in the dying minutes of the match. Granit Xhaka equalized for Switzerland in the 52nd minute. And when it all seemed that the two teams would share the points, Jordan Sakiri came up with the deciding goal in the 90th minute to earn full points for the Swiss team.
Anyway, he was inside his own half when it was played, and didn't he finish it well? Off came the shirt, which means a yellow card, but he won't mind about that. Tosic will think about this and think he should have fouled him and taken the red card. Look at those.
Meanwhile, in another match played yesterday, Nigeria blanked Iceland 2-0 in a World Cup Group D clash yesterday. Following a goalless first half, Ahmad Musa scored in the 49th minute to give 1-0 lead over Iceland. Musa was in the thick of action again when he single-handedly scored the second goal to double Nigerian lead. The Nigerian win has meanwhile resurrected the chances of Argentina for the second round berth. Argentina now needs to win its last group match against Nigeria to advance into the pre-quarterfinals. Meanwhile, in a sensational development, as reported by the media, Argentine players held a meeting at their hotel to remove coach Sampaoli ahead of their last group match against Nigeria this Tuesday. 3 more matches are lined up for the day at the ongoing FIFA World Cup today. Belgium will clash against Tunisia in a Group G encounter. This will be followed by a match between Asian powerhouse South Korea and Mexico. And in the last match of the day, defending champions Germany will take on Sweden. 5-time world champions Brazil ousted Costa Rica from the FIFA World Cup with the help of stoppage time goals in a match played earlier yesterday. Following an action-packed but goalless first half, which also saw a late penalty awarded to Brazil and overruled by VAR, Brazil were made to wait till the dying minutes of the match by an spirited Costa Rica side. Coutinho came to the rescue of Brazil with a stoppage time goal when he connected to a neat pass sent by Gabriel Jesus. Just before the final whistle, Neymar had time to shoot home from the close range to seal Brazil's 2-0 win. Earlier, Brazil were guilty of wasting a number of goal-scoring opportunities, with Jesus hitting the crossbar shortly into the second half. Costa Rica also had a brilliant chance to take the lead early in the match, but Celso Borges put his shot wide. Brazil and Switzerland have now consolidated their chances of advancing into the round of 16 from Group E.
Good running from Gamboa. Saw it all the way, Borges, and dragged his shot, and it is well wide in the end. Thiago Silva stood in the way, but Borges really should have done a lot better. Into the second half, Brazil started to pile on the pressure. Free header for Gabriel Jesus. Unlucky. Keylor Navas.
And before we wrap up, here's a look at the top stories one more time. District Presidential Assembly of Nepali Congress ends without finding outlet to the intra-party dispute. Focuses more on government bashing than organizational improvement. Statistics of road accidents depicts an alarming picture. Over 2,000 people killed every year, around 80% of the victims under 30 years of age. Venezuelan security forces charged of carrying out hundreds of arbitrary killings under the guise of fighting crime. Venezuela has been dismissing human rights allegations as lies. And Switzerland come from behind to register a thrilling victory over Serbia. Nigeria brings alive Argentina with a crushing win over Iceland. And those were our latest headlines. Our next English bulletin will be at 11 a.m. later this morning. Stay with us for more news and entertainment on KTVSD. Have a great day ahead.